My name is Marty Ricks, and I was president from 1989 to 1991.
Can you tell us what were your biggest challenges as being president of the congregation and how you met those challenges?
When I was president, we were just starting to fundraise for the new building, and I had never asked for anybody to give a donation before, and all of a sudden I am number one on the firing line with a rabbi to visit people in their homes after a long day at work, after a 70-mile drive from the office, and I was probably in 70 homes asking for gifts, sometimes with a rabbi, sometimes myself, sometimes with another partner. And I have to say that it led me to a career being a fundraiser for the last almost 15 years.
That's great. Any other challenges that you recall while you were president?
You know, I was fortunate. I didn't have any glitches, any emergencies, any retirements, didn't have to hire any significant staff. It was a smooth sailing 2 years, and I know it's not true for every president who comes through any temple leadership position.
You're very fortunate. What about the things you accomplished? What stands out in your mind?
Yeah, I learned something in the early stages of fundraising. We were educated by a professional group of fundraisers who told us to turn down a gift if we felt it wasn't sufficient. It's not my style, but I went out with a partner and we asked for a certain gift, and they came back and said, we'll give you about a third of that. And my partner immediately said, we can't take it. And I was president, I didn't speak up. I felt bad I didn't speak up. We ended up losing the family, and I made a pact that would never happen again, no matter what kind of fundraising I was in. I would never turn down a gift. I would never insult people. I would never turn people off. We can always go back and make a return visit. And that's carried me through my career since then. And it was a real learning experience for me.
Any other accomplishments you want to speak about?
I was happy that I think in my 2 years, I think 1 year I had Iris on the board, my wife, who was, I believe, HR, Human Resource Committee Chair. I believe I had both my kids, one for 1 year, one another year, leading their respective youth groups. And I think that during my tenure, there was no controversy, smooth sailing, and people wanted to be members here. It was during a time when I think we had about 600 families, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 550. Just a few years before, we were 250. And I just felt good about my 2 years.
That's great. What did you get out of being president personally? What did you receive?
Yeah, for me, it goes back about 8 years before that, when I decided to join a temple when my first child was at the age where she needed to start bat mitzvah training. I signed up here. I had never been a Reform, never considered myself a Reform Jew. I actually grew up in an Orthodox synagogue in Omaha, Nebraska. And from the time I signed up, I made up my mind that nobody's going to ever know me. I'm going to drop the kids off, and I don't want to get involved. Nobody's going to know me. Larry Levine, I believe, was 2 presidents before me, maybe 3. And I started going to services with the kids, and I started having good feelings. I called him up one day, and I said, I think I want to get involved. And he made me, we had a one-on-one at my condo, and he put me on a committee with a wonderful couple by the name of Saul and I can't remember Saul's wife's name right now. Anyway, so I started on Ways and Means and started feeling good, and wasn't more than a year later. You know what happens when you start doing getting involved, they start asking you to take other positions, and I became the treasurer. And I have to say, during that time of my life, I didn't feel good about what I had accomplished. And getting involved with the temple leading up to being asked to be president, which I was shocked. I didn't think I was, presidential material. I have to say, getting involved here, and this this makes me break up, that it really changed my life. It really did. From the time I got involved here, I just left that area of having no confidence in myself to being a confident person. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And for that reason, as you know, I'm still somewhat involved, more financially than anything else. And I'm a believer in this temple because I think it made a difference in my life.
Thank you for sharing that with us. So to our future leaders, the next president, what advice do you give them?
It's a challenge in the Conejo Valley with probably still 50 or 60,000 Jews, because the commitment is not like I'm used to in the Midwest, where we have 6,000 Jews and raise a lot of money. But on the other hand, it's a gold mine. To find the right leader, rabbinic leader, will be very key. Somebody who can really attract people and build a reputation to grow this congregation. And future presidents need to concentrate on acquiring endowment funds. I'm prejudiced. That's the business I've been in for 15 years. And you talk about temples in West LA, if they're looking for $1 million, they can get it in 5 phone calls. It'll be a long time before that will ever happen, I think, in the Conejo Valley, but it should be a goal of every president to grow the endowment fund to ensure the future of this wonderful congregation.
Anything else you want to add about being president?
I'm proud of what I accomplished, and I'm proud especially what I've accomplished since then, making fundraising a career. I've always said I like to spend more time out here for High Holy Days. I have good memories, but we have a wonderful Reformed temple in Omaha, so it's hard to break away from that congregation. By the way, we're just about ready to open a new one, a $22 million facility. That's the way things are in the Midwest. The Jews like building buildings in the Midwest, and someday Temple Adat Elohim will need a new building, and again, buildings only last so long, and I just wish the congregation well. I'm proud to still be a small financial supporter, and excuse me, and always like coming here.
Well, we miss you, and we wish you the best in Omaha. Thank you.
Thank you for all you've done.